If you've ever seen a missing persons report on TV, you probably had some pretty disturbing thoughts at the time. And rightfully so. It's terrifying to think of all the things that might have happened to someone when they've gone missing. Were they kidnapped? Are they even alive? But in the case of this missing persons report in particular, much stranger questions than that come to mind. You see, my online friend, Lynn, discovered it last Tuesday, and while I haven't seen it myself, we haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. The following audio clips of Lynn are from an interview that I held with her, just to get her side of things.
It came on at like 3 in the morning, and there wasn't like much to it. It was just a name and a picture with the word missing written above it. That was all. There was no information about who this girl is or where she was last seen. And I feel bad because I gotta admit the picture was... It was weird. I don't want to be rude, but it was really creepy. Like, besides the fact that it was a low-quality black and white picture, she just looked, like, really sick. Like, her cheeks were all sunken in, and she had these huge bags under her eyes, and I just remember thinking how weird it was that they went with that picture.
While this is odd, it wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened. I spoke with Lynn about Joanna Lopez, a mysterious missing persons report from Chicago in the 80s. Nobody knows who Joanna Lopez was or anything about her besides the fact that she was missing. But even that broadcast had a phone number to call. Colleen only had a face and a name. For a moment, my theory about Colleen was that maybe it was just a test broadcast. But one quick search later, the theory was disproved. There was indeed a Colleen White who went missing in a town adjacent to the one Lynn lives in. I only skimmed through the case, but on the surface, it seemed to be her. One thing that had us scratching our heads, though, was the dates. Colleen went missing in May 2009. She'd been gone for 13 years. Gone in the night were the words used in the titles of the articles about her, however few of those there were. Interest in the case was at an all-time low. It seemed the entire world had accepted Colleen's fate years ago. Because of that, it seemed strange to us that anyone would bother to continue broadcasting about her. Then again, it makes sense a station from her hometown would still be reporting on her. Assuming it's a small town, there certainly could be a tight-knit community of people still waiting for her to come home. It's a pretty sad thought.
I don't think it has a set airtime. Every time I stay up to watch it, it comes on at a different time. Or sometimes it'll even interrupt whatever show is supposed to be playing then. But it only comes on at night, between like 9:30 and 3 in the morning. Also, I looked at all the pictures of Colleen that you sent, and none of them are the ones used in the program. It is her, I can tell, but she looks like much healthier in the pictures you sent. I think in all likelihood the picture in the report was one taken closer to when she disappeared. Or maybe it's an aged up rendition of what she might look like now. Like, that could explain why it's so odd looking. But I'm 99% certain it's an actual picture.
We still haven't found the source of the picture from the broadcast. In fact, I couldn't find any pictures online of Colleen that I would describe as sickly. Honestly, we would have left the case alone much earlier if it weren't for that ominous fact. The picture was the last loose end in an open and shut weekend's worth of creepiness. We were nearing the closing of the story, but then, about 3 days ago, things took a bizarre turn. After another evening of scrolling through pictures of missing people, I finally asked Lynn what channel the broadcast was on. I figured I would just call the station directly and ask them about it. Some hours of finessing later, I got into a call with a very pissed off program director. He was accusing me of prank calling him. Even after I explained myself, he seemed completely convinced I was a prankster that had been harassing him for some time. Eventually, I managed to convince him that I wasn't who he thought I was, and he explained to me that the station had occasionally received calls in the previous years describing my exact scenario. We weren't the first to inquire about Colleen. But the reason he was so quick to dismiss these calls as pranks was because of one strange fact. According to him, the last time they broadcasted a missing persons report for Colleen White was the year she went missing. There had been no scheduled broadcasts since. Colleen wasn't supposed to be on the air at all. So I talked with the man some more, and eventually he agreed to send me a picture of the report they did broadcast all those years ago. And I immediately knew it couldn't be the one Lynn was talking about. It had a phone number, information about Colleen, and even a half-decent picture I recognized from one of the articles I'd read. So that begs the question: where does this transmission come from?